Hey everyone, welcome in to the other part of the season finale to Friday Around the Leagues with Jon Gordon. I'm Jon Gordon, and in this show, every single Friday, I'll be here to tell you about the most recent news that's happening around the major leagues. So let's get into it. Alrighty, I'm doing this part and posting it. Probably by the time I post it, the live will be done and over with. And I'm doing this and maybe posting it if the live does fail. But let's get into it. Alrighty, so as it's been for the last few weeks, there hasn't been much to report on, and this week does not change. But I will be reporting on week 6 through week 11 of the Eagles schedule. I do have reports on the Phillies and some reports on the NBA. So let's get into it. Alrighty, let's start with the Eagles. So last week I did week 1 through 5. This week I'm doing week 6 through 11 because week 10 is the bye week for the Eagles. So let's get into it. Alrighty. Week 6 is versus the Panthers. As we've seen from the last few years, the Panthers have, they're on a rebuild and they've gotten better and better every single season. And this game, from how, the trajectory is of the Panthers rebuilding, this is going to be a good game to watch. It might have been last season when we played the Panthers. We didn't do as well. It wasn't. It was a competitive game, but it wasn't on the level as how we normally are. But I feel like this game is going to be how we are how the Eagles are going to be on their normal level, and the Panthers, I don't know if the Panthers are going to be far behind in the scoring part, but we'll have to see how the Panthers do in the start of the season, how they progress, because you really never know with how a team progresses. But we'll have to see. But I say that it's going to be a competitive game for Week 6. And then Week 7 is versus the Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. This is going to be a grudge match, but you really never know where it's going to be the grudge match. It's either going to be on the field or in the stands. Because, Cowboys and Eagles fans have hated each other for so long parts of history. And in Lincoln Financial Field, it's going to be just crazy and chaotic. But the game itself is definitely going to be, a big one at that, because I feel like by week 7, this is going to be the game. This game and the next two are going to be what really set the NFC East for the rest of the season to see what's going to happen. But hopefully the Eagles come up on top and win the division and win this game, especially being in Lincoln Financial Field. Getting that upper hand on the Cowboys, and as an Eagles fan, getting to heckle at a Cowboys fan is going to be pretty nice. But then Week 8 is another NFC East match. This is at the Commanders versus the Commanders. We played them. We're gonna play them Week 1, but we also played them Week 8. This is gonna be I'd say a very unpredictable game. Because you really never know with injuries. You really never know with how the Commanders do. Because Jaden Daniels, first year, 2 years ago, the Commanders were able to make it to the NFC Championship game where we were able to, beat them. But last season they barely, they missed the playoffs. So you really never know how the team's going to do and, how the Commanders are going to be by week 8. But, hopefully this is still a good game to watch. But we'll have to see, because this game, week 7 and definitely week 9 are going to be, the setting points of the NFC East, as I said, a little bit earlier. And then week 9 is versus the Giants at Lincoln Financial Field. This is another NFC East matchup where, the heckling is going to be just a ton. It's going to be this is definitely going to be a back and forth game, with how well the Giants have, done in, free agencies, and how well they've done in drafts, with last year getting Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo, and just the way they've definitely been rebuilding, and how the last time we kind of played We played the Giants the last 2 times. It's been really competitive. This game is definitely going to be competitive if, the stars for the Giants are not out by week 9. But then week 10 is our bye week. And then week 11 is versus the Steelers. It's Philly versus Philly game. This is going to be at Lincoln Financial Field. So not as many terrible towels are going to be out, but, the terrible towels are going to be there. This is going to be an amazing game to watch. It's not an NFC East. It's not an NFC East game, but this is definitely going to be a good game to watch. I recommend this as a game to watch. Even if you don't live in Philly, getting to watch these two Philly teams play each other is just crazy. But that's all I have on the Eagles. So let's switch to the Phillies. So as I reported from last week, the Phillies have, been on a hot streak. They're still on that hot streak, but they've dropped off a little. They've lost a few games in the last, they've lost a few games now, but they're still on their hot streak, better than how they were with their old GM. I give all my praise to Don Mattingly on how well he's done taking over with this team, and hopefully we can continue with, the hot streak and get back onto it. But that's all I have on the Phillies. And then let's switch to the NBA. I don't have any Sixers reports, but I do, I would like to bring up the Western Conference Finals a little bit and talk about Wemby versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's been a pretty crazy, hectic series back and forth right now. I don't know if the game has ended by now, but at the time that I'm reporting this, it is 1-1 in the series. Game 1 was a crazy ending in overtime where Wemby hit the final shot to take it to overtime, and his team was able to come out the other side with the win. But then, SGA, came back and answered back with the win in Game 2. Now we have Game 3. This has been a crazy series, back and forth, everybody just nuts. The Wemby versus Shai have seen each other in the regular season where Wemby swept Shai 4-0. This is Shai's first win against Wemby this season. But, I hope that this series, and I feel like this series is going to go to a Game 7. This is not the finals, but this really feels like this should be. And of how intense everything is, this is going to be, I will say that this is probably going to be better than the finals itself. These two powerhouse teams, these two powerhouse players going back and forth, this is probably getting the NBA. These games are probably getting the NBA so much revenue, but that series is just like the best I've probably ever seen. But that's all I have for all my news for this week. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe.